Hello there, welcome to Target Radio Podcasts. Yes, we have a podcast for your ears. Every week here on the show, on our live shows that is, we try and get an interesting persons, artists, band members, music, poets, film playwrights. We even get, we'll try and get everyone. We'll try and get everyone that's interested in our genre of music that we portray here on Target Radio. So what we do is sit them down, we have a telephone interview, sometimes a live interview, and we discuss all things in their profession. So stay tuned here. This one is an absolute blast. You're going to love this, and I'll be back at the end to obviously, tell you what's coming up in the very near future. So I am the Podfather. I will now tell you that this is Target Radio Podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, and if you think we deserve it, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. That would be rather nice. Thank you very much indeed. So over to me, Cookie, and obviously to Andy Top Walker as well. And sit tight, and enjoy. This is Target Radio.
Dear God in heaven, please let this show go okay, with no major boobs or goofs, or is it goofs? Please don't let me tread all over the intros of records, or say a naughty word.
I listen to Sean Cook.
Oh, Sean Cook.
We'd like to say that, in our opinion, it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Oh, Sean Cook.
And a very good evening. The 19th of May, 2020, still in lockdown of sorts. Has it got to you yet? I mean, I'm out as a key work and it's getting to me. And it's lovely weather. Apparently now we are allowed to go to parks and things and sunbathe and stuff. The wife went out today and she's come back feeling all horrible and groggy. She's moaning she's had too much sun. I mean, what's that all about? Anyway, she took the kids out, and I think the kids have had a great time. Talking of kids, here she is. Little Cookie, missing from action yesterday, but back to it with us today. Hello, Ruby Roo, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. You're very quiet this evening. Why are you quiet?
I don't know.
You don't know. You're not talking very loud, that's why. Anyway, you're here to do the birthdays very shortly, because we're going to hit the birthdays up very quickly this evening, because we've got not one, not two, not three, not four, probably about 6, 7 guests this evening. All of our guests are presenters here on the station, Ruby. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've also got a new presenter.
What, two new presenters, actually, or 3 if you like. Wow. So looking forward to catching up with some of the newer and not so newer presenters here at Target Radio. They're going to be telling you, that's it, they're telling you why you should tune in to theirs and other people's radio shows. I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, Ruby. Okay, so,
Yeah.
I mean, what could go wrong?
I have no idea.
No. Stay tuned for that. Okay, on the show this evening, we are going to try and squeeze in some music as well. We got something from the Yardbirds, Slim Harpo, the Easy Beats, the Hollies, some unsigned talent as well, and of course something from The Who. I'm going to play this because he'll know that it's his time to shine. And hopefully, live on the video telephone call right now, we should have Sir Martin Fuggles. Hello, Martin. Hello, Martin.
Hello,
how are
Cookie.
you?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hang on, Martin. I'm bringing the guys back in. Goodness me, they've been working hard tonight.
Oh, come, don't work them too hard.
I'm not. They're going to go and have a cup of tea now while we're having a nice chat here. How are you, Martin? How is the, unfortunately, the lockdown treating yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm still got lots of things to do.
Good.
messing about with the Ricky Tick website, and
Yep.
as you probably heard, we just had to cancel the Retro Festival in August. So,
yeah,
I've got to contact all the bands and try and make sure that they're available for this time next year.
yes.
Yeah, plenty to keep me busy.
Well, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I even still get my records out every now and then and record a program.
Oh, well, it'd be rude not to, really.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, I tell you what, we've been having so much success with the Ricky Tick Show. We do a monthly show here on live on Target Radio with the great Martin Fuggles, and I'm going to be honest with you now. I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, let alone back in the mid part of the 60s when you was a DJ back at the Windsor Club there at the Ricky Tick Show.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. Your memory recall is absolutely unbelievable, and I suppose the music really helped.
It takes a lot to get that back, I tell you, because I have to sit and look back. I mean, I was always a bit. I nearly used a rude word there, but I used to keep a lot of notes about things.
Yeah.
And that's what helps keep going. But I still keep discovering new things. And
Yeah.
nearly every month in the programme, there's a record there that I haven't played for 50 odd years.
Wow.
Which is scary. I mean, I've got various ideas about the next few months, what we might do. We might do one on Northern Soul records. I mean, Northern Soul, I always say, was after my time.
Yeah.
I retired in 1967 from proper DJing.
Okay.
And Northern Soul hadn't been thought of. But I've got a hell of a load of records. There's a guy called Kev Roberts who wrote a book called The Top 500 Northern Soul Tunes.
Okay.
And I've got a whole load of the records in that Top 500 that I
Wow.
was playing back in the 60s before Northern Soul started. So
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You learned something even in lockdown.
there you go. There you go indeed.
So
But
I'm
one of the things,
Yep.
when I was looking through that,
Yeah.
I discovered that I had a record that was in that book that I'd completely forgotten about. So, there will be, when I do that, and it might be next month, it might be, well, I don't know yet, we've got one or two ideas floating around.
That's good. That's
But
good.
there will be, nearly every month there's a record I haven't played for 50 years. And certainly there will be a Northern Soul record that
Wow.
I played back in the 60s before Northern Soul was even thought of.
That
I mean, there's
is-
a lot of soul being played up north, but it wasn't labelled Northern Soul then.
No, indeed, it wasn't known as Northern Soul. I think it adapted it sort of. Was it late 60s, early 70s? The Northern Soul
It
sort
was
of
around.
scene.
There's various stories about where the term Northern Soul originated, but
Yeah.
I would put it at 70, 71.
Yeah.
With some of the things that were going on at places like the Wigan Casino and other venues
Yeah.
up in the northwest.
Twisted Wheel, weren't it, as well? I think the other one was, weren't it? They were the two main ones I think they
Well,
used.
the Twisted Wheel was there in the 60s. I mean, I've met 2 or 3 years ago a lovely guy who used to be at the Twisted Wheel, and when I was down at the Ricky Tick in Windsor. And he tells me there's a lot of things which we had in common,
Yeah.
but a number of things were different. I mean, the dancing for a start. I mean, the start of Northern Soul dancing can be traced back to the 60s soul clubs up north in the 60s, where even then the guys were dancing. And he tells me that a lot of it came in from the US seamen who actually were coming into Liverpool docks or Manchester docks.
Oh, there you
at the time,
are.
and were going to the clubs and dancing. Whereas down south, it was the girls dancing around their handbags. And to get the guide out, I had to put a slow record on. So
course,
whereas
yeah.
now, when I'm doing my old soul and Motown nights, it's the slowy one maybe at the beginning of the evening, but it's all dancers for the main part of the evening.
Of course,
Whereas
yeah.
back in the day, we'd play 3 or 4 dancing records and then put a slow one on. The guys would come out and have a slow dance with the girls.
And what's quite
But
funny
other than
now,
that,
I
it's the
mean,
girls on the floor.
absolutely. I mean,
Now
obviously, it's the other way around now, isn't it?
It's the other way around now. It's the guys who do all the dancing. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic to see that. Obviously, I've shared a stage with you. I think it was the what was it? Was it the Frog? I think we shared a
Was it
stage.
Frog?
Yeah, we shared a
Yeah.
stage up there, and it's
Yeah.
just really funny. You put a track on, look, guys are up there, they're dancing straight
Yeah,
away, and the
absolutely.
girls
Yeah.
are the ones they are like keeping the chairs warm. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
But
To see
the
that
whole thing has
turnaround.
changed. But that's the fascinating thing for me, because as I say, I stopped playing at the Ricky Tick in '67.
Yeah.
Packed the records away and left them packed away for 40 odd years. And only
Wow.
about 8 or 9 years ago, I started getting them out and playing them again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm still learning about what happened in the whole period in between.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
So obviously you've met quite a few of the you know, obviously if you tune into Martin's show every week, or indeed at least once a month, because obviously it's a monthly show, and it's brilliant because obviously the music that he plays, you know, shall I mention the Temptations? Why not?
Why not mention the Temptations?
Well, it'd be rude not to.
There's another group you could mention who I play nearly every month, who are my real favourites. The Temps are on most months. But,
I know.
The Impressions are the ones that.
There's the
really
other ones.
to me.
There's the other one. Right. So obviously you've met most, if not all, of these. You know, including the you know, Little Stevie Wonder. Now, obviously, the question is, why Little Stevie Wonder? I know the answer, but some of our listeners out there might not.
We had Stevie Wonder was over. I think he was promoting Uptight, and he had started recording back in 62, 63 when he was about 13.
Yeah.
So he was known then as Little Stevie Wonder.
Of course, yeah.
We had him on the Ricky Tick in January 66.
Yeah.
And by that time, he had actually dropped the little. But our guy who produced the posters didn't realise that, so they still called him Little Stevie Wonder.
Well, no one told him, did they?
No one did. No one told the guy who made the posters up. No,
indeed. Right. Oh, that is fantastic. Obviously, every star now that you're going to mention, you're going to get. We're going to do this. Oh, a little clang. There we go. I might as well get used to this little sound effects that I done for Steve Smiley Barnard last week. There we go, there's another clang. Because he's met quite a few of the stars as well. So now, when you first started doing the DJing, obviously it was in between live sets. And who was your first sort of go-to band then?
It was. Who was the first band?
Yeah, who was the first band that you really took notice of and you thought, well, these might be really good?
I can't say they really were. I mean, at the time, I'd been, before I went to the Ricky Tick, I was DJing at a local dance hall in Slough.
Okay.
You know, there weren't much, but I was always into the sort of music that was played at the Ricky Tick. So I think the first week I DJ'd on the Saturday night, it was Georgie Fame.
There he is.
And you know, that was he was probably the most popular guy at the Ricky Tick at that stage.
He always came across very smooth. Was he like that?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
He was a man of few words. I didn't speak to him much because he was good mates with one of the two guys who ran the Ricky Tick.
Yeah.
And I also one of the little memories that comes back every now and then is there used to be a little sort of control room on the side of the main ballroom area where the stage was and everything else. And Georgie was in there one night talking to Philip, one of the two guys who ran the club.
Yeah.
And I wandered in there and I'll never forget. He said, "Hello, Martin, how are you doing?" And I thought, he knows who I am. And of course, Philip always called him Clive, which is his real name.
Okay.
Georgie. But yeah, it was just one of those things.
Oh wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And these are the sort of stories that you get to hear on your monthly show. I mean, obviously, we've adapted it. Well, you've adapted, I should say, slightly now from obviously first year. And obviously, those ones are still available on Mixcloud. Just search for them on the Target
Certainly
Radio
are.
Mixcloud.
I mean, the first year, each month we went through who was appearing that month.
Correct,
at the Ricky Tick.
Fantastic format.
And 62 to 67.
Yeah.
And then played a few of the records that I bought in that month. Whereas now it's more about, and we change. We have a different theme each month.
Yeah.
And I say this month I've actually played a couple of records that I didn't play at the Ricky Tick Club.
Yeah.
Because more recently I've been doing this Old Soul and Motown night in Reading on the third Friday of the month at a place called the Outlook. And there's a regular bunch of guys who go there, and some of them actually used to go to the Ricky Tick, so they're a similar vintage to me, i.e. they're quite old.
No, come on.
They nominated their top 3 tunes in a chat they were having on Facebook a few weeks back.
I think that's a really good concept, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it really worked well.
So we've got a few out in the May programme, and it's still available, folks, on every Sunday at 9 o'clock and every Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we changed the times around a little bit. So
some Outland records as well. So there we go.
There it is. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Now, obviously, I've asked this question of all of the artists and the presenters this evening. Why should they listen to your show, please, Martin?
They should listen to my show if they'd like to be locked up in a 1960s time warp. For me, it was the best decade of music.
Yep.
And Mickey Tick tended to steer away from mainstream pop. So if you like early soul, early Motown, early Atlantic Stax, and a bit of early R&B, proper R&B, not the stuff they churn out and label it now.
No.
Then the Mickey Tick Record Show is the show for you.
Yes, indeed. I think R&B stands for something totally different these days.
Absolutely, you're right.
I think
no doubt about that at all.
I think for radio we can't obviously mention that at all. So I thought we'd play out with a great Small Faces called Sha La 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 Lee. I think we've got enough Lars in there. Now, did you ever meet the Small Faces?
No.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. I think they played once for the Ricky Tick guys, but back in the 60s, it was all about which management group you were part of.
Yes.
Now, the Ricky Tick guys, Philip and John, were good buddies. In fact, Philip in particular, with Rick and John Gunnell. Hence, they ran the Flamingo and various other clubs, and also managed a lot of different bands.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it tended to be bands managed by them, or in some cases where we had American artists over, it was artists that they brought over, or that associates of theirs had brought over.
Yeah.
So, we did have some American soul. I mean, my favourite, what people don't know about, was a guy called Arthur Alexander.
There he is.
He was brilliant. But we had Rufus Thomas, we had Benny King. There were a few of those, but
all the ones you're mentioning, they're getting a clang. They're getting a clang. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, Martin, it's been a wonderful, and I'm just hoping that you stay safe out there, my friend, and keep churning out these brilliant shows every month.
Our very best for you, Cookie.
I'll tell you what, they are fantastic, and
you
obviously
keep up the good work with that great radio station.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Lovely. For now, though, hang on, I've got to get the other button out now. There it is. I'm just going to bring the cheering squad back in there. They're all social distancing, and for now, Martin Fuggles, you stay safe, my friend. Keep washing those hands and stay away from people that you don't know. And according to the government website, you've got to stay away from people that you do as well. I'm confused.
That's right, yeah. I'm not allowed out at my age.
I shouldn't be allowed out at any age.
Care, mate.
In yourself, my friend. There we go. See ya. Take care. That's Martin Fuggles, and you've got to tune into his Ricky Tick show every single week. I know it's repeated every single week, but hey, it's a great show, even though I say so myself, produced by myself, but all the content belongs to Martin Fuggles and all the original vinyl recording records. Honestly, they're all his. Okay, why did I agree to do these things? Okay, here we go. Now, hopefully, on the other end of this phone, as soon as he picks it up, will be Mr. Mike Thompson. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Just turning you up.
Oh, my goodness me. Hang on. I'm getting the guys back in one more time. No, not that one, for goodness sake. This one. There we go. We got Mike Thompson now with a bit of Eleanor Rigby in the background, supplied by Mr. Andrew Deavy. Stop playing and texting things, please. Thank you very much. Right, Mike Thompson. Hello.
I'll try and eat between mouthfuls.
Well, that's generally what we all do. You mean you try and speak? Very professional, Mike. He's eating chili con carne, ladies and gentlemen.
I am.
He is. Is it nice?
Very good, actually.
Good. Did you make it, or was it the lovely Jules that made it?
Jules, of course.
There we go. Well done, Jules. And you get one of these as well. Hang on for the chili con carne. Oh, brilliant. Lovely. So, Mike, I won't keep you very long because obviously we're running extremely late today. And as always, honestly, Martin Fuggles has got a great tale or two, hasn't he, to tell? Brilliant stuff. But you have reprised, or should I say, I bullied you into it, to Beatleology Hour. It's existing again. It's reared up and it's back, and it's getting some followers. I tell you, it really is. It's very popular. And we had a year out or so because obviously you're concentrating on other things at the moment, which I won't mention unless obviously you want to say anything.
Not much, whatever.
Yeah. Okay then, right. So obviously you've left your sort of your main job of what you were doing over there in the midst of smoky town of London, and you're embarking on a brand new career. And you're at college or university, I should say, at the moment, aren't you?
I am. I'm studying to be a psychotherapist. It's really getting quite hard now.
Oh, is it really?
It is. I'm also in practice. I'm seeing people in, which at the moment is quite important. Imagine people are really struggling. So I'm seeing people and practicing as a therapist now as well.
Right.
And I'm working as a key worker as well. So I've got a lot of I'm good.
So it must be very difficult. Obviously, we didn't think this lockdown was actually going to happen, and obviously then it did, and it's impacted on so many of our lifestyle. Obviously, being a key worker yourself, it's very difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult to sort of like maintain what you were doing prior to the lockdown, and obviously now still in lockdown. And I don't know, are we in lockdown? Are we out of lockdown? Are we sort of treading around it? Are we tiptoeing around it? What are we doing? I don't really know.
I don't know anything very clear, but we're getting. I'm feeling a little green shoot of normality returning a little bit,
Yeah, indeed. Try and keep your phone still if you can, Mike, because obviously you're cutting in and out a little bit there. That's probably your chili con carne.
Can you hear me?
I can. Oh, brilliant. What have you done there? You dropped your phone in the chili. He has as well. So anyway, let's bring it back to the Beatleology Hour. I think that's better. So everything is great, because obviously it's all Beatles, isn't it, as far as you're concerned?
It's, yeah. And
okay.
I've enjoyed listening back.
Yeah, it's great.
I recorded a long time ago. I've forgotten the content I put in there, and I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed listening to it. But you know, to sort of ignore my own voice, and the music's good, and some of the little yarns and the bits of history are really, they're really part of our culture, and I'm very pleased with it. It's good.
It is. It's a great listen. I mean, not only do you hear some really great tracks, obviously, from each album that you play and analyse, but you find out so much about the sorts of stories in between, and then you dive even further in, and you go into their psyche almost. It's almost like you're challenging each one of the Beatles and talking to each one of them, which obviously now is going to be a difficult thing to do, even if you had the sort of, obviously the access to do so, because obviously, two of them are no longer. But it's a really, really good programming, because I like the Beatles. I wouldn't say I'm mad as a daft brush going into the Beatles. I love their music. I love the earlier stuff of the Beatles, to be fair, over the latter part of the Beatles. But there's so much I didn't know about them. And if you think you know the Beatles, think again, because obviously I don't think you do, because you have studied and you've really gone into some depth. You've really sort of like looked at all the books and then cross-examined them.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a mission of my life, really. It's a bit of a passion, and I hope that comes across,
I think so, yeah. I think so. In your voice, it's so sort of all-inspiring. You can tell by your own voice that, the things that you're finding out is some of the things for the first time yourself. So you're learning as you're sort of, I don't like to use the word education, but entertaining us with all the knowledge that you're finding out.
Definitely. There are things. You're most right. There are a lot of things I found out from no.
Yeah.
But it's a never-ending subject. There's some really, really good books written about it all.
And
what's really exciting this year, I mean, I don't know how the COVID-19 is going to affect it, but we've got the new director's cut of the Let It Be movie coming out, directed by Peter Jackson, as in Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Apparently he's got access to kind of hours and hours and hours of footage that's not been seen. And what's happening there?
No, I'm still here.
the film cut is really much more favourable than the one that was released originally, which showed the Beatles having a bit of a squabble and a bit of a fight and a bad atmosphere. And this has got a lot more positive thing to it, and you get the whole of the rooftop show as well. all 40 minutes of it
Wow.
in the movie. So, as you can imagine, I'm chomping at the bit about that one.
I bet you are, because obviously I know you're obviously outside of working sort of practices, because obviously being a what's the word I'm looking at? A muso. I think that's the word we're using these days. A muso, being a musician yourself, and obviously you champion a lot of these songs that you play yourself, and I know you play some of the Beatles tracks as well. What's one of the hardest ones to play?
Well, actually, they pretty much all are. I mean, apart from the kind of rock and roll ones,
yeah.
The hardest one to sing is Helter Skelter, without doubt. I mean, that's something I can't get near. There's all sorts of things you can talk about. The rhythm guitar part and All My Loving. Anybody want to try and do that one? Play it and think it's just really unusual. John Lennon's style. It's a triplet somewhere on the guitar and everything like that. Then, of course, a lot of their material was studio only later on. It was never played live at all. So
yeah.
Trying to recreate that as a musician can be really challenging as well. But they're all pretty hard. They all broke the rules of music. That's the thing about it. There's no convention there, and that's what made it a bit magical, I think.
That's it. I mean, a lot of people say that the Beatles were a simple band with simple songs, but obviously, you go against that by saying it's very, very difficult to play a lot of their tracks.
Yeah, definitely not a simple band to play in no way, shape, or form. Lots of innovation, lots of new ideas. Lots of things I've never done before, and I find that I can learn a Beatles song and play it quite well.
Yeah.
Within a week, it's gone from my mind. You have to be right with it all the time, because the changes are so fast, they're so complex, and I can forget a Beatles song that I've learned to play for hours.
Yeah.
Just that, if I don't keep up with it. It's so much material in their songs, It's,
Absolutely. Now, obviously, before we let you go, your Beatleology Hour is now back on a Sunday at 5 o'clock, so a great time, I think, to sit down if you have an evening meal, obviously, if you're recovering from the lunchtime meal. So we've placed that in there just at the right time, I think, for an easy listen, because even though you dive into it quite in depth, I think the way you broadcast it out is quite easy listening, and obviously a lot of the music from the Beatles was quite easy listening.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good one to listen to on headphones, actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because you'll get a bit of the narrative of what I'm talking about if you listen to it really up close.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I find podcasts it's quite podcasty, I guess my one is.
Yeah, indeed. If you strip the music away from it, obviously just started the intro and left the outro in there and stripped away the music, because obviously podcast really doesn't contain any music, it could make a fascinating podcast. There you go, something I can possibly do when I find another 50 hours a week.
I remember you laughing at me once. I think I did something like an 8-minute link. You said that's not the way we do radio. So.
But do you know something? You still haven't learned. He still does an amazing long link. Will you stop doing that, please? But it's not an on and on link. It's full of enthusiasm. It's full of information, and the most important part is if you pin your lugholes back, you're going to learn something. If you think like I said before, if you think the Beatles, think again, because my goodness me, you really do dive into it, and everything you're coming up with is fun facts. I mean, the first show, you had Motorhead on it, for goodness sake.
But wasn't Lemmy's story wonderful about being his first love of his life? Bands.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't necessarily equate the Beatles to that, but we didn't. We wouldn't have had Lemmy without the Beatles. That's a pretty wonderful thing to think about, isn't it? Really?
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of bands, I've gone on record to say, obviously Paul Weller, for instance, his first love was the Beatles, and he, he was another, a musician that picked up a guitar and mimicked the Beatles.
It's a rare thing that musicians don't like the Beatles, I do know a few of them that sneer at it.
Well, boo to them.
and you pick a guitar up.
Yeah.
And you understand what's going on. It just becomes an ongoing inspiration,
Absolutely.
It pushes you. You learn so much, and you want to do your own stuff. And it's what can I say? I love it.
Absolutely. Right, okay, so I'm going to ask the same question that I've asked of every single person. Why should they tune in? I think we've probably already answered it, but why should they tune into the Beatleology Hour? And just before you answer that, is 30 on its way?
If 30 is on its way, I'm going to try and...
fantastic.
Let it be movie. I'm planning to do a little lockdown special. I'm going to try and do it this weekend if I can.
No worries, my friend. No worries at all. You know, obviously, you take your time and obviously stay safe out there, and obviously love to the family. And I was really touched by your grandson. That was absolutely brilliant. I won't go into it, obviously, because you know it was on Facebook. I won't mention it, but it was absolutely inspiring. You know, I had to put a big love heart on that one because it really touched me as well. And it's lovely what kids do, isn't it? You know, they do it without any sort of thought or anything else. But it's brilliant.
My grandson Nate, 5 years old, Beatles fan.
You've mind melded with him. Oh, that's fantastic. I bet he knows all the songs. I bet he knows how to play them all as well by now. Knowing you. Brilliant. So one question then is, why should we choose to listen to the Beatleology? And apparently it is now a word. It's in the dictionary. Beatleology. Why should we listen to your show, please, Mike?
Well, it's very passionate. It's very authentic. It comes from the heart.
Yep.
If you lock into it, you'll get some inspiration, and you'll probably want to go and listen to some the albums. You know, I play tracks, but you want to go and listen to the whole thing in its entirety and see things out. And I guarantee that if you're into music, you'll get a little bounce off me, I think.
I think so too, and obviously being a musician yourself, obviously when it comes down to sort of like when you're talking about the musical sort of like side of it, you don't get technical with it, which is what I like. Because obviously you could say, oh, you get down 3 chords down, and you do this and you do that, and you pluck your 4th string. Oh, I haven't got a clue. You've lost me. You don't do that, but you do mention about how some of it is played and why it's played, and you do it in such a sort of shall we say, the common man will understand it. And I like that, and I really do like that. You make it simplistic, and I like that, and it's enjoyable. And like I say, you can hear it in your voice. There's so much passion and love for the Beatles in there. Who wouldn't like the Beatles, for goodness sake, after listening to one of your shows? Even with 8-minute long links. Mike, I'll let you go and have your pudding, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. And we're going to play a Beatles song for you right now. And for everyone else out there, this is Please, Please, Please Me. I've too many pleases there, by the way. And Mike's going to pick me up on that. He'll text me in a minute and say, too many pleases. Thanks, Mike. Take care. Love to Jules and the rest of the family.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.
No worries. Take care. There he is. There he's gone. There's Mike Thompson there, your host for the Beatleology Hour. And hang on, the guys are back in. And I need a break.